Kamala Harris finally debuting her economic platform in a few hours. It's got new tax credits, costly support for first-time home buyers, and a federal ban on, quote, price gouging. Harris specifically calls out grocery stores taking advantage of Americans. But look at this. Retailers reporting profit margins at 1.6%. Really? Is that gouging? Former Trump chairman of the Council on Economic Advisors twice, Kevin Hassett, joins us. Kevin, from what you see and for what's been framed out for us this morning, what will this do?
Like, for an economist, this is about the most terrifying proposal I've ever seen, because what Kamala Harris is saying is that the government needs to set the price of things. And she's starting with food, but I guess if they're going to set the price of food, they might as well set the price of everything else. They've also come out, you might recall, the Biden administration saying that they want to set rents, that they think rents are too high, so they're going to have the government decide what the rent for your apartment should be. This is absolute socialism, and it never ends well. If you go back and look at the countries that have tried this, like Cuba, Venezuela, Ukraine, back when the Soviet Union organized it, then it leads to famine and shortages. And I was just in Lisbon, Portugal, where they still have really aggressive rent control, and all of the apartments are empty because the people who own the buildings can't afford to rent them to people because the rent is so low. And so this is an absolute disaster. Right. This is socialism at its highest. And the really chilling thing is that, think about it, it's right before the Democratic National Convention. She's the nominee. She should be trying to moderate her positions to appeal to swing voters, and instead she's going all in on socialism. So what it means is these people really are that way. These people really believe in socialism. They want to change this country, and they're willing to say it, up front right now. And it's astonishing to me that she would do that.
But Kevin, here's how you could spin it. Don't you care about first-time home buyers? Don't you care that people have health care debt? Don't you care that students have, people in the workplace have student loans? And if you don't, you have no heart. You don't care about people. You only like rich people. That's the spin for people that want to push back on what she's presenting.
Right, and the way to respond to that is to say that, geez, if you create a happy business environment, then people get jobs, they have high incomes, and they can afford stuff. If you want people to have cheap places to live, then you should stop the expansion or encourage the expansion of building into parts of the city that aren't zoned to have houses, and then you increase the supply of houses. There are a lot of things that you could do that make economic sense that help these folks, and it's not just having the government set things. Whenever the government set things, then what happens is that if you're friends with Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, then they're going to be sure that the prices for your stuff they're really good, and if there's a shortage, you're going to get it. But if you're an ordinary folk, then you're going to go to the grocery store, and it's going to be kind of like the drugstore, where you got to go find someone to get you the razor blades because they're behind lock and key. There's going to be shortages, and it's going to be hard to get stuff, and the shelves are going to be empty. Make no mistake, in socialist country, the shelves are empty in the stores, and that's the country that Kamala Harris wants to give us.
You want a free market or you don't? People need to explain that. When they asked, Fox News asked people, who do you trust in the economy? It's still Trump 52-46, a little bit closer than it was under Joe Biden. When she talks about, I'm for fracking now, I'm for offshore drilling, but there's a way to be subtly against it, and that's through regulations. That's through maximizing federal land and not letting people drill on it. There's a subtle way to hurt the oil and gas industry while not saying I want to ban on it, isn't there?
Right. Well, also, if you look at the way she said that, even that thing, it's so duplicitous, because at first she wants to ban fracking, but then her campaign puts out a statement. You should go read it, Brian. It says, we're not opposed to all forms of fracking. So there's probably somewhere where you use unicorns and pixie dust, and they're fine with that. But fracking itself, they're not. But again, they didn't say we're fine with fracking. They said we're not opposed to all forms of fracking. And they didn't say what forms they're not opposed to. So it means they're opposed to fracking.
People in Pennsylvania should know it's on a pause right now, all new leases, before they vote. An early voting should be in a couple of weeks. Kevin Hassett, thanks so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.